Today, we're exploring what happens when we pay attention to the spaces between where we've been and where we're going. From learning to recognize the forces shaping our experiences to reflecting on how we grow, adapt, and care for ourselves along the way, today's journey invites us to notice more, judge less, and remain curious about what comes next. Namaste, my witchlings. Welcome one and all to Daily Divinations, Witchy Wisdom and Self-Care. This is where magic meets mindfulness, and we take just a moment to honor the day, listen to the cards, and tend to ourselves along the way. Whether you're returning or joining us here for the very first time, I'm so incredibly glad you are here. Hey, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Di. I'm your yoga witch and guide, and this is your daily pause for reflection, insight, and care. So go grab your favorite crystal. I'm playing with a piece of carnelian today, if I can not drop it. Light your favorite candle or some incense for that aromatherapy. Settle in with your coffee, tea, or whatever brew fills your mug. And let's go step into today's wisdom together. Now, if this space resonates, please do the like, share, and subscribe thing, as it does help our witchling community grow. And speaking of growing our community, you can join our channel here as a witchling member. Your support keeps the space alive and thriving, and we would absolutely love to welcome you in. We have no birthdays today. Sad. All right, so we are lighting our candle today for Sharky's mom, who we are still holding in our hearts due to some health issues. We are holding our mod Andrea in our hearts as she remains unhoused. We are thinking of John and his loved ones, Hazel, our dear witchling, and our friend Joram, who I'm not sure if he is coming back to YouTube or not. We are thinking of all of our friends who are dealing with these extreme heat temperatures and smoke from wildfires. We are thinking of my adopted mom, Zen, who is going through living hell as her mom, Pity Pat, is approaching the veil. May her crossing, when it comes, be swift and painless. We are thinking of my best friend, Alyssa, and her girls, as all of them are dealing with Dad being deployed to the sandbox. We are thinking of all of the victims, survivors, and families affected by violence. So as I light this flame, may it shine as a beacon of light for those stumbling and finding their way in the darkness. And now with the lighting of our candle, our circle is now closed. We invite the ancestors to join us on today's adventures. All right, we're going to be acknowledging some awareness months today, and we are taking a look at what holidays and observances are popping up for us today. Yay! All right, we start with International Left-Handers Day. This day celebrates the wonderfully left-handed people navigating a world largely designed for right-handed folks. From scissors and can openers to school desks and spiral notebooks, everyday objects can become unexpected challenges. Today recognizes those frustrations while celebrating the creativity, adaptability, and uniqueness of Southpaws everywhere. Give your favorite Southpaw some love, and maybe let them choose where everyone sits at dinner. Next, it is Admit Your Happy Month. Admit Your Happy Month invites us to notice the things that genuinely bring us joy and actually admit that we're happy about them. Happiness doesn't require a perfect life, nor does acknowledging it mean ignoring grief, anger, stress, or everything going wrong in the world. Joy can exist alongside all of those things. This month, notice the good moments when they arrive, whether they're enormous or delightfully ordinary. And you know what? Give yourself permission to enjoy them without guilt. Last but not least, as a small business, home business owner, I am acknowledging Home Business Month. This month celebrates the entrepreneurs turning spare rooms, kitchen tables, garages, and tiny corners of their homes into places where ideas become livelihoods. Running a business from home takes creativity, persistence, flexibility, and a willingness to wear approximately 17 different hats before lunch. This month honors those independent business owners building something of their own and reminds us how much supporting small, local, and home-based businesses matters. That, my witchlings, are the holidays we're talking today. How are we going to weave them into our magic? All right, my witchlings, now it is time to honor our goddess of the day. She is a divine presence to inspire, guide, and walk with us on today's adventures. Our goddess is Xmucane, the Mayan day's grandmother, and she carries the mysteries of time, cycles, creativity, and divination. Alongside her partner, Xmucane, she is credited with establishing the calculation of time and the calendar, giving humanity a way to understand the rhythm of passing days. As a prophetess, Xmucane sees backward and forward through the stream of time, holding past and future within the same gaze. She is also called the maker of the blue-green bowl, a poetic title thought to refer to the vast bowl of the sky stretched above the world. Mayan tradition once associated this time of year with the beginning of the universe, making today a beautiful opportunity to honor beginnings, endings, and the cycles connecting them. Invite this goddess into your daily life by asking her to bless your calendar, planner, or appointment book, helping you use your time with greater intention rather than simply watching the hours disappear. Light a blue-green candle secured safely inside a bowl and place it behind your calendar. Rest your hands, palms down, over the pages, and take a moment to consider where you stand within the current cycle of your life and where you hope the days ahead will carry you. As the candle burns, say, Lady of Time, see where I stand within your stream. Grant me the perspective to move forward confidently, using each day upon this earth to grow, learn, and deepen my connection with the goddess. Inspire me to transform the moments of my life with positive magic. Today, tomorrow, and all the tomorrows yet to come, may I recognize the sacredness of the time I have been given. So be it. When you are finished, extinguish the candle and save it for future workings with the goddess. Each time you light it, let its blue-green glow remind you that time is not merely something that passes. It is something within which we continually create. That's today's goddess. What do we think of her? All right, witchlings, namaste, my witchlings, and welcome to the divination portion of today's journey. Go grab your tea, your coffee, your crystals, your emotional support familiar who's laying in the door, whatever you might need, and let's see what messages the cards are bringing for us today. As always, Della Luna Answers Oracle deck. What am I doing? I need the glasses on. All right, we start with sacrifices must be made. Following that, someone has unmet needs. Last but not least, changes will be made. Sacrifices must be made. Someone has unmet needs, and changes will be made. You are beginning to understand that sacrifices must be made because someone has unmet needs. Something in the current situation is no longer providing what is needed, and, well, continuing as things are will not resolve that. Recognizing those unmet needs means acknowledging that something has to give. The necessary sacrifices may not be easy, but they create room to address what has been missing. Once you understand what is truly needed, you can determine what must shift in order to meet those needs in the best way possible. With that realization comes the understanding that changes will be made. The situation cannot remain as it has been, and those changes are necessary to move forward in a way that better meets the needs involved. And now, what do the unicorns have to say? A conflict is finally settling, bringing a welcome sense of relief, but someone's hunger for power could threaten that peace. Their disregard for boundaries may ultimately become their undoing. For now, patience is your strongest move. Don't rush to interfere. Bide your time, watch what unfolds, and prepare yourself, because sacrifices are coming. I demand a sacrifice. Moving right along. Our first card here is the Five of Rods reversed. Relief, calm after conflict. Following that, we have the Chariot Reversed. Failure. You may have little regard for rules and regulations or the law of the land. Through your power hunger quest for achievement, you may appear ruthless, bringing about your own downfall. Last but not least, we have one of my favorite cards. We have the Hanged Man. Bide time. Change. Out with the old, in with the new, sacrifice and readjustment. I heard that. Anyway. The Five of Rods suggests relief as the conflict finally settles and a period of calm begins. There is a chance to step away from the struggle and experience some much-needed peace. However, the Chariot Reversed warns that someone involved may have little regard for rules, regulations, or even the law of the land. Their hunger for power and determination to get their way could ultimately become the very thing that causes their downfall. Rather than getting caught up in their actions or attempting to force the situation forward, the Hanged Man suggests that you just bide your time. There is no need to rush or intervene right now. Allow events to unfold as they will, because sacrifices are coming and patience may be necessary while you wait to see exactly what must be given up. That, my lovely witchlings, is today's tarot reading. That's what the unicorns have to say. And now let's go ahead and bring the tarot and oracle together into one single message. A clear message flowing through each and every card. Drop me a comment. Let me know what resonates out there. Because here we go. The Five of Rods reversed indicates a massive failure, one that may be connected to the behavior revealed by the Chariot reversed. There is little regard for rules and regulations here, perhaps even for the law of the land, as someone continues forward on a power-hungry quest. But that quest will ultimately become their downfall. Meanwhile, the Hanged Man brings out and out with the old, in with the new energy, echoing the message from the first oracle that sacrifices must be made. Something cannot continue in its current form, and something will have to be surrendered before anything new can take its place. After everything that has happened, the decision has finally been made that changes will be made. Rather than recognizing those changes, recognize that they are a good thing. What has failed can be left behind. The necessary sacrifices can be made, and there is finally room for something different to take its place. That, my lovely witchlings, is our combined reading. Who are they screaming at today? Please let me know in the comments. And now, our affirmation. I release what no longer serves me and welcome the changes that create space for something better. I trust myself to recognize when it is time to let go, move forward, and embrace a new direction. I meet transformation with patience, courage, and confidence, knowing that every ending can make room for a new beginning. That is today's affirmation, my lovely witchlings. And with that, we have today's divination. Hey y'all, let's take a second now to step into DieTheYogaWitch.shop, where magic meets movement and your growth is supported on and off the mat. This is a space for transformation where yoga and life coaching come together to help you move forward with clarity, confidence, and purpose at a pace your nervous system can actually sustain. Alongside your practice, you will find some handmade intention-infused jewelry and some fun Die the Yoga Witch merch like coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, yoga mats, and so much more, including some goodies for our little furry familiars, which your mama couldn't leave them out. That way we can all carry a little bit of magic with us each and every day. Tarot and oracle readings are available when you're seeking insight, and a limited number of local services are offered for those nearby in the Puget Sound region. But the heart of this space is supporting your daily practice, your growth, and your connection to yourself. If something in your life is shifting, growing, or simply asking for deeper intention, this is your sign. Come explore what we can create together at theyogawitch.shop. If you're enjoying what you see here and feel called to become a part of our little coven, please feel free to tap that join button and become a channel member. There are some really awesome perks waiting for all of my witchlings, and membership levels start at just $1 a month. How affordable is that? Now, having said that, I do understand the budgets are incredibly tight for many of us right now, so a quick little reminder that you can also support our channel here for free by subscribing and sharing this video with a friend, helping us grow our community. You can also find all of the ways to support me on my link tree, which is above my head here and in the description box down below. I appreciate you guys and all of your support. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get back to the show. Namaste, my witchlings, and welcome to Witchy Wisdom, our little corner of the day dedicated to learning, exploring, and deepening our understanding of the craft. Whether you are brand new to this path or like me, you've been walking it for a hot couple minutes, there is always something new to discover. So, let's take a few minutes here together to explore the history, practices, tools, and traditions that help us build a more thoughtful, informed, and meaningful practice. All right, we are talking Tarot 101, learning the language. Ooh, I'm having fun with this course, let me tell you. So, over the past couple of days, we've met the other half of the minor arcana. We met swords and air, thought, communication, truth, ideas, decisions, discernment. And then yesterday we met pentacles and earth, bodies, work, resources, home, stability, the tangible world, right? We also broke apart 2 shortcuts that can make learning tarot easier at first, but can seriously limit our readings later. Swords are bad and pentacles equal money. Neither one of those is true. Swords speak the language of air, and pentacles speak the language of earth. So today, we're going to let those 2 elements start talking to each other. Because air can have the most brilliant idea in the world, and earth is eventually going to look at air and ask, cool, how the fluff are we going to actually do that? Let's think about air first, y'all. Air imagines, questions, plans, analyzes, and communicates. Air can look at what exists and envision something different. It can create possibilities that don't exist yet anywhere except inside someone's mind. That right there is incredibly powerful. Every invention began as an idea. Every book began as a thought. Every business began as someone's concept. Every single difficult conversation began with somebody realizing, we need to talk about this. But that said, an idea alone isn't the same thing as reality. You can have an absolutely brilliant plan, color-coded, spreadsheeted, researched, mapped out to within a millimeter of its life, and still, nothing has actually happened. That's where Earth enters the conversation. Earth asks, okay, what resources do we have? What do we need? Who is going to do the work? How long is it going to take? Is this sustainable? What happens in the physical world now? Air develops the plan, and then Earth starts building. All right? All right. We're going to imagine we decided to start a garden. Air can do a lot of work before anything touches the dirt. You research what glows. Wow, Di. Try this again. You research what grows in your climate. You learn when to plant things. You decide what you want to grow, and you figure out where all the sunlight falls. Then you start making lists, maybe even drawing out the garden beds, and spending an embarrassing amount of time researching tomatoes. No judgment. That's air. Information, planning, decision making. But eventually, if you actually want tomatoes, Somebody has to put a damn plant in the forking dirt. That would be earth, because, you need soil. Seeds, water, space, tools, time, physical effort. And then, the hardest part, you gotta keep showing up. The greatest gardening plant in human history will not produce a single tomato if it never leaves your damn notebook. But the opposite is also true. If you walk outside, huck some random seeds everywhere, and hope for the best, you might grow something. You might also discover that you planted something that needs full sun in the darkest corner of your yard. Earth benefits from air, air benefits from earth, and that's the relationship we're looking for here. Now let's bring that all back to tarot. Suppose you're doing a career reading. You notice several swords and several pentacles. Before you interpret any individual card, you already have an idea. Air and earth are both active here, so you might start asking yourself, what plans are being made? What information is involved, and what decisions need to happen? Then, what resources are available? What work needs to be done? What is financially or physically sustainable? What skills are involved? What can actually be built here? Maybe someone has an idea for a career change. Air says, hey, I've been thinking about this for months. Earth says, okay, what training do you need? Air says, I hate my current job. Earth says, okay, so what happens to your health insurance if you leave? Air says, ooh, I want to start my own business. Earth says, cool. What's your startup cost? Neither element is trying to ruin the dream. They're giving us different pieces of the same situation. And this is where elemental relationships become incredibly useful for beginning readers. Because you may not know yet what every individual card means, and that's perfectly fine. That's okay. Look at what's happening across the spread. If swords and pentacles dominate, you can recognize this situation seems strongly connected to thought, decisions, communication, and tangible reality. That is already information. You haven't memorized 56 Why am I having so much trouble with the word minor today? You haven't memorized 56 minor arcana cards. You haven't opened a guidebook. You've noticed the language the reading is speaking. And now you got somewhere to begin. Let's try a different example. Imagine someone asks about a relationship and they pull mostly swords and pentacles. Interesting. There may not be much water here. So instead of immediately deciding, oh no, there's no cups, they don't love each other, just stop. We don't know that. Absence is not automatically a verdict. Remember, notice first, interpret second. What is present? We have air and earth. Maybe this relationship is currently focused on communication and practical reality. Maybe they're making a major decision together, moving, buying a house, changing jobs, combining finances, figuring out childcare. Maybe they're navigating some health issues. Maybe, just maybe, they love each other deeply, but the thing demanding their attention right now is how are we actually going to make our life work? That is a very different reading from no cups, no love, break up. Context matters. Or we're going to imagine the opposite pattern. A reading is filled with swords, but there's almost no earth. So we've got lots of ideas, lots of conversations, lots of decisions, lots of thinking. Excuse me, lots of coughing. Maybe lots of anxiety, but where's the grounding? Where's your action? Where are your resources? Where is the tangible result? Maybe everybody is talking and nobody's doing a damn thing. Maybe someone has planned the project 17 different ways from Sunday and still hasn't actually started. Maybe they're stuck analyzing every possible outcome. I have no idea who might do that. Or maybe there isn't enough practical support for the idea yet. We don't automatically know which one it is. The individual cards and the question will help us figure that part out. But the elemental pattern gives us something to investigate. Now we're going to flip that script on its head. Lots of pentacles, almost no swords. There's work happening, resources are being used, things are getting done, and the physical structure exists, but what's the plan? Is anybody talking? Is anybody questioning whether this is still working? Are decisions being made consciously? Is someone doing the same thing over and over and over because, well, that's how we've always done it? Honey, Earth can provide stability, but stability without thought can become stagnation. Air can provide change and possibility, but air without Earth can become endless ideas that never become anything more. Don't know anybody like that. Again, neither is good, neither is bad. They're just different forces, and different does not mean bad. Now, here's another piece of the air-earth relationship I want us to notice. Words eventually meet consequences. That is a very air meets earth idea. Air speaks, earth asks. What happened because of what was said? Someone can promise you something. Okay, that's communication, air. But do their actions support the promise? Earth. Someone can tell you, I promise I'm gonna change. That's air. What changes in their actual behavior? Earth. Someone can say, I support you. Air. Do they show up when support requires effort? Earth. Someone can create the most beautiful mission statement imaginable, and that is air. What does the organization actually do is Earth. Now, this doesn't mean words are meaningless. Words matter enormously. We talked about that Monday, or Tuesday, earlier this week at any rate. But words and actions are not the same thing. When air and earth appear together, sometimes tarot asks us to look at the relationship betwixt them. What is being said, or does what is being said match what is being done? That is a powerful question. And the relationship works in the opposite direction too. Actions need interpretation. Imagine someone does something that hurts you. Earth gives us the event. This happened. Air helps us ask, what do I understand about it? What information am I missing? What conversation needs to happen? What assumptions am I making? And what boundary needs to be communicated? What decision comes next? Earth gives us what happened. Air helps us make meaning and choose our response. Again, conversation. Now, this is why I keep telling you that tarot isn't 78 flashcards. Because if all you're doing is memorizing definitions, you miss this. You miss the relationships and the patterns and the way one part of a reading changes how you understand another. You're not translating 78 separate words. You're learning grammar, context, conversation, and story, and you're learning how different pieces of human experience interact with each other. So, let's return to the 4 questions we've been building. Fire asks, what moves me? Water is asking, what do I feel? Air asks, what do I think or understand? And earth asks, what is actually happening in the world I can touch? Today, we're putting the last 2 together. And what do I think and what am I doing with it? Or what is happening and what do I understand about what is happening? Air and earth can easily challenge each other or support each other or balance each other and sometimes even reveal where something is missing. So, here's your practice for today. Take your tarot deck, pull out the swords, pull out the pentacles, shuffle the 2 suits together, and then draw 3 cards. We're not looking up their individual meanings yet. You're only looking at the suits. Maybe you pull sword, sword, pentacle, and what do you notice? There's more air than earth, right? Thought might be louder than tangible reality. That doesn't tell you the entire reading. It gives you a starting point. Then try again. Maybe it's pentacle, pentacle, sword this time. Now earth is louder. Something tangible may be taking center stage while air contributes another piece of the conversation. Try sword, pentacle, sword, or pentacle, sword, pentacle. Notice how the pattern feels, then look at the individual cards. What do the images add? What changes? What story begins forming? You don't have to get it right. Right now, you're practicing seeing relationships. That's our skill. So tomorrow, we're expanding the conversation once again because we've now met fire, water, air, and earth. We've listened to fire and water together. We've listened to air and earth together. Now it's time to put all 4 elements on the table. And that, my friends, my loves, my witchlings, is when the minor arcana really begins to come alive. Because a reading might contain passion, emotion, thought, and practical reality all at the same time. That sounds complicated, but really, it sounds an awful lot like being human. So until tomorrow, my witchlings, stay curious, keep noticing, and remember a brilliant idea needs somewhere to land, and sometimes Earth is simply asking air, okay, what's the next actual step? So until we meet again, my lovelies, stay grounded, stay curious, keep that heart fire burning, and I'll see you later. Namaste, witchlings. Namaste, my witchlings, and welcome to today's self-care. This is a gentle reminder that caring for oneself is not laziness, weakness, or selfishness. It is absolute necessariness. So, let's take a minute together to talk about rest, balance, boundaries, and the small ways we can care for ourselves today. So, my witchlings, we start with our Sanskrit bit. This is where we explore the wisdom, philosophy, and deeper meanings behind the Sanskrit words and concepts woven through yoga practice and everyday life. So, let's go dive into this month's word and see what wisdom it has to offer us today. All right. Our Sanskrit word for August is Pranayama. And today, I want you to notice something we usually overlook. There is an inhale, there is an exhale, and somewhere between them, there is a small moment of transition. You don't need to hold your breath or count anything. You don't need to make that moment longer. Just notice that it exists. An inhale becomes an exhale, and exhale becomes an inhale again and again and again and again. There is something beautifully ordinary about that. We spend so much of our lives focused on destinations, starting, finishing, getting there, getting through it, checking the next thing off our list. But breath reminds us that life isn't made only of destinations, it's also made of transitions, the tiny moments between one thing and the next. Pranayama asks us to pay attention closely enough that we begin noticing those spaces. Not because something spectacular necessarily happens there, but because we are there, present, alive, breathing. You don't need an elaborate practice today. Just take one breath. Notice the inhale. Notice when it changes. Notice the exhale. Notice when it changes. Then let your body continue doing what it knows how to do. That's practice too. Namaste. All right. We have our namaste. Namaste is reflect and grow. I like this one. Look in the mirror when you have a chance. This exercise will expose the things that are hard to swallow. When you see your reflection, try and bring to the surface the things that you need to improve on. This can make you feel a little sad, but this is just the first part of the exercise. Take all the things that you need to improve and tell yourself that you are good at them. Tell yourself that you will try harder to get better at them. This will seem silly and maybe a little difficult at first, but if you are consistent with this exercise, you will look in the mirror one day and realize that you have improved. The things you fell a little short on are now assets to your character. Reflect and grow. Namaste. Self-compassion is more natural compassion. Picture a baby or an animal. Say, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be loved. Repeat that 4 times. That's our self-compassion. Now it's time for a little moment of Zen from the little book of Zen. Got kind of a longish one today. All right. We have a quote from Anne Lamott, and then a little bit about Daigu Ryokan. So, Anne Lamott. Your problem is how you are going to spend this one odd and precious life you have been issued. Whether you're going to spend it trying to look good and creating the illusion that you have power over people and circumstances, or whether you're going to taste it, enjoy it, and find out the truth about who you are. Anne Lamott. Now this part is entitled A Great Fool. Daigu Ryokan, literally great fool, is one of the most beloved figures in Japanese folk tradition. A Zen poet monk, he loved children and playing a happy game of ball, which he called, quote, the highest form of Zen. After receiving the seal of enlightenment from his Soto master, Ryokan, 1758 to 1831, by the way, chose not to take students, but to emulate the monks of old, living in solitude as a mountain hermit and relying on alms for sustenance. He endured bitter periods of poverty, yet never lost his extraordinary innocence and loving heart. When a burglar ransacked his hut after discovering nothing of value, Ryokan wrote a haiku. The thief left it there in the window, the shining moon. Ryokan wrote poetry that is among the most beautiful in Zen literature. But he also left behind his great fool's essence, as in the popular story about a game of hide and seek. As it grew dark, the children seeking Ryokan went home, but the monk continued hiding. The next morning, a farmer found Ryokan behind a haystack. "Hush," he said, "or the children will find me." That, my lovely, lovely witchlings, is today's moment of Zen. And now it's time for our blessing. May you walk forward with curiosity in your heart and gentleness toward yourself. May you have the wisdom to recognize what deserves your energy, the courage to release what does not, and the patience to allow yourself to grow in your own time. May you find meaning in ordinary moments, compassion within your reflection, and joy in this strange and precious life you have been given. So may it be. Blessed be. Namaste, witchlings. And that's our self-care for today. And it's time to put our candle out just in time. Come on. Pity pat, may your crossing be swift and painless. With the extinguishing of our candle, our circle is now open. We give our eternal gratitude to the ancestors for joining us today. Hey y'all, quick little reminder. This space exists solely because of our witchling community. There are no corporate sponsors, just shared magic, mutual care, and a whole lot of love. So please do me a favor, do the like, share, and subscribe thing. Join the channel if you have the financial means to do so, and please tell a friend all about us. Now it's time to go out there and spread love, spread joy, and spread kindness, because there's enough darkness, hate, and discontent in this world. Can we choose to be steady lights of love and joy and hope for those tumbling in the shadows? Make sure your loved ones in all their forms, 2 legs, 4 legs, wings, fur, scales, paws, or claws, know exactly how much you love them. Time is not a strict progression of cause to effect. It is more of a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff that moves faster than any of us realize. That means those chances to say I love you one last time are not ever guaranteed. If you take one thing away from everything we say and do here every day, I really, really, really hope you always remember this part. You are loved, you are wanted, you are needed, and your purpose for existing is real and genuine, even if you don't know what it is yet. I love you guys to bits. I hope every single one of you has the most fantabulously magical rest of your day or night, wherever you are. I will see you all next time. Namaste, witchlings.